Please don't forget to mention na we're streaming this live also on YouTube.
Yes. Okay. All right. Let's let the participants in. Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon po. Ayan. Everyone is starting to join. Ayan. Good afternoon. And for those just coming in, my name is Alma po, and I will be moderating today's session on life-sustaining habits for better well-being. Ayan. Let's just wait for more participants to come in. So, ayan. Ayan. Wow, already. Somebody said in the chat, good afternoon po from Sampaloc, Quezon Province. Ayan, thank you. Alam mo, before we start, because we have a very interesting topic for today, I want to get some engagement from the crowd. So, ayan, hello everyone. I want to ask you all a question. I want to ask you, what is your name and what is your occupation? Are you a student? If you're a student, tell me you're a student. If you're working, tell me where you're working. Ano industry mo? What's your position? I want to do a demographic of who is choosing to tune in to this afternoon session. So ayan, please don't hesitate to send a chat. Ayan, yan, we have Jack Camacho, a student. Yes, we have some college students. We have Ray, a government employee. Yan, we also have, sabi ni Jess, a good day from Pangasinan. Magandang hapon from La Union. Wow, ang saya naman. Ayan. Okay, we have more. Oh, we have more college students, working students. Ayan. Wow, ang dami nating college students. Yan, we have Cynthia D, a housewife and mother. Yan, we also have more students. Yan, hello, Micaela. Hello, Jerlene. Yan, we also have, we have um, Maria Ana, social worker government. Ayan. Wow, we have a person from Qatar. Wow, welcome. Welcome po, Ms. Sharina. And we also have JP, a government employee. Wow, this is exciting. We have such an engaging audience. Alam mo, this is great because we have a very exciting topic in store for today. Now, the reason why gusto ko tanungin kung in what walk of life you're in right now is because we have students, we have employees, government employees, and everyone wants to know or learn about life-sustaining habits for better well-being. Kasi nga naman, importante nga siya, diba? So, ayan. Yan. If may mga kaibigan kayo who's wanting to tune in, please tell them that the room is open and also that we are currently live streaming on YouTube. So yan. If may mga kaibigan kayo na hindi pwede maka-zone in sa Zoom, you can send them the link to our YouTube. So ayan. Okay, wag na natin patagalin pa. So before we start our free webinars here in Positive Workplaces, we always start with our mission. And that mission is that we co-create cultures that enhance the well-being of the Filipino workforce. Huh? Very short, very concise. So that is our mission. But our vision is really to create a nation of positive workplaces. And we do that through various means, like this free webinar today. No? So I'm going to introduce to you what is called a positivity ripple. Ito yung parang strategy namin or yung attack plan namin when it comes to how we do our mission, which is co-creating cultures. How do we do that? We have to start with, of course, leading the self. But how do we in positive workplaces actually do that? Well, the answer is through this very own webinar that many of you are attending right now. This is an example of how we teach people to lead the self. We impart with all of you knowledge and skills that you can use to better improve your own well-being. O, diba? So if you attend a free webinar or anything, or you pay attention to a post and you learn from us, you're already part of that wave of people that are learning to lead yourselves. So, ayan. So, of course, the next one is leading others. Alam mo, yung co-founder ko, si John, he loves this analogy. So, guys, gusto ko imagine nyo. So, when you're on a plane and you're about to take off, the flight attendants, they're always gonna teach you what to do in case of cabin pressure. So that's when the oxygen masks come down. They specifically teach you that before you even decide to help the person to your left or to your right to put on the oxygen mask, you have to put it on yourself and secure it before you help those to the left and right. And we follow the same analogy when it comes to leadership. Before you even decide that you can lead others, you must first learn to lead yourself. So ayun. So once you've learned that and you're leading and influencing others' well-being, you sort of become part of a community of leaders that have great positive impact on their organizations or maybe even just your coworkers, diba? And because you do that, you're leading cultures. The community of leaders are what allow us to lead and change cultures. We promote good culture here in the Philippines or everywhere around the world. And these cultures being promoted is what allows for us to pave the way for positive workplaces. So yeah, that is what we call the positivity ripple here in positive workplaces. And I hope nagets nyo yun. So, yeah. So what we're doing today is basically this free webinar series for the month of January. Yung theme natin is championing life goals. Tapos yung title natin is Ako na lang ulit. Taking my life back from the pandemic. Now, fantastic. Parang may action pa. We want you guys to take your life back from the pandemic. So ayon, earlier this month, we had Cliff Ayala, founder and CEO of Signerbite, and he talked about getting unstuck 101. And it's talking about how to design more life into your years. And last week, we had Coach Karen Cindy and Prof. Jose de Colongon, who are co-founders of Lifecraft, and they talked about how to design an authentic and well-crafted life. So ito yung mga webinars namin na nagdaan na. But don't worry, if you're thinking, ay sayang wala akong oras, di ko napanood. It's actually available on our YouTube anytime if you want to watch the whole series. You can leave it in the background and listen to it because we really impart really good knowledge. Si Cliff, Coach Karen, and Prof. D really worked hard on their sessions, and we want you guys to listen to that. But today, however, we have Life-Sustaining Habits for Better Well-Being, hosted by our very own Gabby Lamzon and Jericho Kapinpin. So before I introduce them, I just want to give you guys some reminders since we want this session to be interactive for everyone. No? Alam ko, some of you guys might be tuning in just to listen, but we highly encourage you to participate as it will really benefit you guys. So ayon, yung reminders namin is one, have another device to be ready to go to another link. Or you can use it on the device that you're using. Also, if you can, maybe have a pen and paper ready for notes, or maybe if there's an activity, just have it there just to be sure. And next, we participate. We want you guys to participate through the chat box. Gusto ko makita yung energy nyo. I want to see your participation. And lastly, may evaluation tayo sa dulo, guys. And that's for how you will be claiming your e-certificate. So yeah, that's going to be open for 30 minutes only. And that's going to be at the very end of our session. So yeah, that's our reminders. I will now give the floor to our magnificent hosts. I mean, speakers, Gio and Gabby.
Thank you so much, Alma, for that introduction. So we'll be taking the floor from here. And let me share my screen first. Good afternoon to everybody. It's lovely to see all of you join us this afternoon. Of course, Gabby and I are here to give a wonderful, wonderful webinar on life-sustaining habits for our well-being. No? So let me introduce myself, and then I'll let Gabby take the floor as well for the introduction. My name is Gio. I am the training and coaching consultant at Positive Workplaces. And I've recently acquired my certification as a positive psychology practitioner from the Flourishing Center in New York. And I'm still finishing the certification for specifically coaching naman on applied positive psychology. And a big part of my work today is being a well-being wingman, no, for individuals and for organizations. And I do well-being workshops for groups. And of course, I also facilitate individual coaching sessions for individual clients. So that is how I show up in the world the best way that I can. And I'm so thrilled to also introduce Gabby, my positive psychology co-partner here. So Gabby, please introduce yourself as well.
Yes, hello, good afternoon, everyone. So we're seeing our very, very precious audience during our public webinars. And for those of you who already know me, I'm Gabby. And for those who don't, Hello. This is Gabby. I'm the Learning and Development Associate of Positive Workplaces. And just like Gio, my background is in psychology, and I'm currently taking my master's in clinical psychology at the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila. My background is I've worked in mental health programs in both government and non-government organizations. And I believe that promotion activities like this, educating our audience about positive psychology and well-being is very important in our society today. And Gio,
Yes.
who?
Yeah. That's so lovely, Gabby. I'm so excited that we are co-presenting this webinar. No, so there's so many things that people can be expecting from what we would be sharing. No, so we can already get started. We can already get started, but we also want to thank along the way Sam and Reka for putting in their time to help us design the content of this webinar. Now, so shout out sa inyo, Sam and Reka, and they're also here supporting us through chat. No, so say hello to them as well. So yeah, no, life sustaining habits for better well-being. And for us to be guided on our journey this afternoon on this particular topic, no, we'll be taking on this learning roadmap. So first off, we'll understand bakit nga ba mahalaga ang habits sa well-being natin? Where does it all fit into this picture? And then next, we'll understand anong klaseng goals dapat meron tayo so that we can work on our well-being the best. And then finally, no, we get to really understand how to maximize our habits by building on them for our well-being. No? So let's get started by answering their first question. No, why do habits matter to our well-being? And I think the perfect jump-off point for our discussion is to really think about what we just celebrated recently. No, and we all know that we've been at least a month in New Year, di ba, Gabi?
Yes.
And talagang there seems to be a particular ritual na ginagawa natin tuwing New Year, and that's setting New Year's resolutions. Di ba? I'm sure a lot of you are thinking about the New Year's resolutions or are still keeping space for working around yung resolutions, no? And that usually happens yun nga sa New Year natin, no? Pwede naman tayong gumawa ng changes any time of the year. It's totally possible. We can do it in May, we can do it even in as late as November, pero there seems to be something about New Year that really pushes us to create resolutions. And I think, no, let me know, Gabby, if you agree with me that there's something about like the new beginnings, 'di ba? Yung blank slate ng bagong taon. No. And because we are able to create that or we're able to have that blank slate, it's almost coming into this new year with a perspective of kaya kong bawiin yung hindi ko na gampanan the previous year, 'di ba? Or you just feel na there are so many wonderful things that you want out of life. So this is the perfect jump off point, 'di ba, na okay, January 1, it's the first day of the year, it's the perfect time to get started on something. Now, what essentially we're doing here in our New Year's resolutions is actually working with our self-efficacy o yung belief natin na kaya nating mag-produce ng desired outcomes. I want to get a car, you're able to believe in your capacity that it is possible for you to get a car. No? So our New Year's resolutions are in that sort of mindset. We set out things that we want to achieve para ma-boost natin yung sarili natin. Because if you're able to meet your goals or your resolutions, you feel much better about yourself, di ba? Nabo-boost yung capacity natin to see na, oh, alam mo, kayang-kaya ko pala eh. Sabi ko, I'll set myself to do something and I'm able to do that. So that's the power of resolutions. No? So let me now ask you, this is the perfect opportunity to do this. Let's now go on to Menti and have our first question. What is your top resolution this year? So we'll go over to our Menti link now and we'll have people chime in, no? We'd love to hear from you. Ano yung resolutions you for this year? Can be anything, can be simple. You can even list a lot of them, no? How about you, Gabby? Ikaw, meron ka bang resolutions that you're working with?
Oh, Gio, yes, of course. I'm a big fan of New Year's. Naka-resonate ako sa sinabi mo na New Year's really give you a blank slate and para makabawi ka sa mga hindi mo nagawa last year. So, ang
Yes.
isa siguro sa mga ginawa kong New Year's resolution is to sleep more, like to get that decent hours worth of sleep. How about
Yeah.
you?
I agree with you. Parang sobrang laking bagay nung kailangan lang makatulog just a bit more, right? I am pretty
Mhm.
sure that the pandemic hasn't been the most helpful. So yeah, I totally agree
Yeah.
with you that New Year's resolutions could be like sleeping more. So let Gabby, feel free to go through some of these wonderful examples that we're seeing.
Yes, I can see a lot have chimed in. So Gio, it's not just us who sees the new year as a blank slate. So merong isa na he or she wants to graduate, isa find a job so I can resign from my current one. Yes, there's also healthy living, and then parang madami akong nakikita na to get a new job.
Mm-mm,
Okay?
mm-mm.
'Di ba? Tignan
Yeah,
mo.
yeah.
And of
Oh,
course
it's
for
it's
our
very
students,
present. Yeah.
they want to graduate, they want to finish school. So our heart goes out to you because learning in this environment is really a challenge, right, Gio?
Totoo yan. Totoo yan. No, there's so many wonderful examples here. Be more productive, healthy
Mm-hmm.
living, learn Spanish. Napakadaming iba't ibang resolutions. No, I also caught one in my eye at the corner there kanina. Parang build a para have more relaxed time or take things
Yes,
slowly. Parang ganun yung nakita ko. So that's very, very important. Oh, I really like this example, sabi Gabi, self-love and
and
self-improvement,
self-improvement.
no? Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the perfect place for us to actually switch over dun sa next point natin ng share, no? So,
Yes.
going back to our presentation, no, we noticed that there is a common theme with a lot
Theme.
of your resolutions, and hindi kayo nalalayo sa mga naging top resolutions from the previous years, no? So this is data that we've scoured through the last 2 years, 2020 and 2021. And itong mukhang lumalabas, or 2021, 2022, sorry. And na there are two main categories na saan pumapasok ang ating mga resolutions. So lumalabas na a lot of people want to work on their health or even work on their self-improvement, no? But more specifically, when we go through health, ang dami ng examples nung kanina nakita natin, yung
Yes.
magpapayat, mag-exercise, mag-build ng muscle. Those are all wonderful examples, and you're not very far from most people who are trying to do the same thing. A lot of people are trying to lose weight every new year. A lot of people are trying to just get more exercise, build more health. And of course, diet, no? Try to introduce a healthier lifestyle, right? And even ito, I'm not sure if nakuha to ng mga tao or if people are even trying to do this, but it seems to be na may pattern din of people setting the resolution of kailangan ko na tumigil na pagyoyosi or kokontian ko na yung pag-inom. So very health-oriented yung resolutions nila. So on the other hand, ang interesting naman dito is on the self-improvement, there are a lot of different areas of our life that we can work self-improvement on. And interestingly, this is very similar to the patterns we see from yung PERMA na well-being model, na we have positive emotions or happiness, no? We even have career and relationships where like it's similar to engagement and achievement, and of course the relationships pathway. So when it comes to happiness, a lot of people will want to reduce stress. Ang dami na nagsabi nun, sabi kanina, di ba? Take things slowly daw. Tulad niya yung shinare niya dito dun sa resolution na to. May mga nagsasabi, they want to take care of their mental health first. Katulad nung example din na self-love and self-improvement. Diba, Gabi, nakita natin yon. And then,
Yes.
of course, there are those people who are also wishing to be able to travel more. Siyempre, pandemic ngayon, medyo mahirap. Pero, looking over at the entire world population of wishing for things to be different, meron talagang nagsasabi na sana kahit konti makapag-travel pa sila ng konti. When it comes to finances, a lot of people are saying, I'd rather spend less. Mag-iipon, ma-reach ko yung financial goals ko this year. Ayan, and then you raised this perfect example a while ago sa career. Ang daming gustong mag-new job.
Dami nga.
Totally present, 'di ba? Bagong taon,
Yes.
bagong trabaho, ang daming bago, no? And I think the most interesting one for me, I feel like, Gabby, is yung relationships, because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of
Yes.
people, despite the pandemic, and we know how it has been very important for people to like really connect with their family during this time, it still is very much it's still much a desire or a resolution na to still spend more time with friends or family. Pero yung nakakatuwa doon, yung may mga nagsasabing make new friends. That's really sweet. And syempre, hindi natin mapipigilan ang mga nagbubugsong romantics ang mag-find ng new love. So baka meron din sa inyong nakakaramdam ng ganyan, no? Kaway-kaway sa mga baka in love bagong taon pa lang. So sakto may pang-celebrate sila ng Valentine's Day
Valentine's
next month.
Day.
So, yun, no? So very, very interesting collection of resolutions that we have. So now, our next question for people to answer is, now that we're a month in 2022, no, patapos na tayo ng January, kamusta kayo sa resolutions nyo? How are you keeping up? And before I move on there, let me give you the clear way to answer this, no? So, meron po tayong Rufa May chart, no, or line, no. So on one end of the spectrum, baka nandun na kayo sa iyak na lang, tulad niya na wala na, already failed, iiyak ko na lang yung failure ko, ganun talaga. On the middle, we have nagagawa pa naman, pero kailangan nyo na mag-express na, ang hirap na, sabay gapang, no? Still hanging on or struggling. Or katulad kayo dun sa other end, no? Full of energy, full of spirit and hope, na going strong pa, todo na to. No? So we'll switch over to Menti as you reflect on ano na nga ba yung where are you at in your resolutions, no? Ayan. Okay? So we now have our next question. So all you have to do is click on the screen to which image or which line you're probably going to fall on, no? So yan, see, kitang-kita na natin yung responses. Marami nagsasabi, go, todo na to. Already 3, 4, 5, 6, no? People, no? Anong sa tingin mo, anong napapansin mo sa data natin, Gabby?
I actually did not expect that most of them are nasa go, todo na to, Gio. But I'm very happy to see that most of our participants are actually holding up dun sa mga resolutions they made for the year, diba?
That's amazing, totally. As in, super impressive. And as more and more people really populate our quick survey, no, kitang-kita natin na iilan lang ang nakakaramdam nung sentiments ni Rufa May dun sa pinaka-left na talagang iyak na, hindi na kaya or hindi na kinayanan, no? And then there are still a number of them still holding on but wanting to give up. But I really want to celebrate that most people on the right, no, a lot of them are very much present with their resolutions. So nakakatuwa yan. Diba? It's amazing that that's the case. So yeah, and so we'll now go back to how this all relates to why we even asked all of this in the first place, no? So going back to our slides, we actually realized kasi na, hold on, let me gain back the control here. Ayan. So what you might have noticed is parang ang daming nakakapag-hold on pa rin sa kanyang resolutions, but there are some who have already failed at it. But don't worry, okay? Because truth be told, no, ako nag-fail na rin ako dun sa resolution, kanina na lang nababawi ng tulog. Kanina lang nagpuyat na ako. So
yes.
Nagpak na ako kagad doon. No, but that's exactly what happens with people with resolutions, no? Na at least in a survey done in America, it's seen that up to 81% to 92% say that they fail at their New Year's resolutions, no? And titingnan pa natin more accurately sa Philippines, Sa Philippines, only 10% of the population succeed in the resolutions. And this is 2019 data. So very relevant pa rin to, no? Hindi pa nagpa-pandemic to. Ito pa lang din pa rin yung report ng mga tao on how successful they really are in their resolution. So, hindi po kayo nag-iisa kung nakita nyo may mga nag-fail na or merong nahihirapan ng kumapit because the reality is only a few people really make it to the resolutions. But why bring that up in the first place? Nandito lang ba tayo para sabihin natin, okay lang pala mag-fail, no? No, but no, it's a totally different message. No, what we're trying to do here is to understand how come that's the case. And what we're seeing is that when it comes to people trying to meet the resolutions, the usual problem is hindi clear yung goal o hindi clear yung plan, right? So when we mean by no clear goals, no, usually hindi nila alam sa mapa kung saan kailangan pumunta talaga. They cannot pinpoint where they want to get to. So parts of those are trying to change everything at once. Kumbaga, kung magbabiyahe ka, gusto ko pumunta sa US. Ang daming airport sa US, Gabi. Di ba? So, hindi nila malalaman kung gusto mo na pumunta sa US, you don't know where you're starting or where you want to land exactly. It will be very hard for you to pinpoint how you're going to get there. No? And then obviously attempting a change that is too big. For example, you want to travel and you're already targeting the US. But apparently, what your budget allows for you is more appropriately pang Asia lang muna. Diba? So, it's trying to understand sa goals natin, baka we're also aiming for too big or for very complex things already. You want to start a business right away. No? Pero at the end of the day, it's maybe the change we need to make is, I just need to start setting up the website for the business. No? So these things come into play when we're thinking about creating goals around resolutions or making the changes, no? And then the other layer here is, of course, kahit alam nyo kung saan kayo pupunta, if you're not clear how to get there or you haven't planned around it, you're really going to have a hard time getting there as well, no? And of course, kasama dyan is we're not even thinking about our environment. Katulad ng travel, is it appropriate to think about international travel at this point in time? It might be very difficult, no? Diba? I mean, it's okay if that's your goal. Pero come to think of it, or for people who are wanting to change a new job, how realistic is it really for you? Diba? Sometimes that's a real problem for people na they're balancing between if I leave my job, I might not have the security, diba? But kailangan ng security na yon. So it's balancing those things. And then of course, finally, and this is a big thing, no? That when people are trying to reach resolutions, there's usually a result that you're looking at, but you're not really paying attention to the ritual that's needed to get there. Paanong ritual, no? So if we really take a look at it, oftentimes we convince ourselves that massive success requires massive action. We forget that we can actually build on the success by putting in the work day by day. No? So kaya ang importante nung habits natin around our resolutions or our goals, because habits is essentially something that provides the framework for creating the success. Sabi ni Darren Hardy, no, a daily routine built on good habits and disciplines separates the most successful among us from everyone else. So you can almost hear that sentiment na if you want to be successful, di ba? You have to put in place good habits or disciplines to create that success that you're looking for. No? And this is something that even Kobe Bryant shares. No? So we know that he passed away and God bless his soul, but he has left a lot of wisdom for us to work with. And I'd love for you to really hear what he has had to say about working on this discipline and habit. No?
If your job is to try to be the best basketball player you can be, to do that, you have to practice, you have to train. You want to train as much as you can, as often as you can. So if you get up at 10 in the morning, train at 12, train for 2 hours, 12 to 2, you have to let your body recover, get back out, you train, start training again at 6, train from 6 to 8, and now you go home, you shower, you eat dinner, you go to bed, you wake up, you do it again, right? Those are 2 sessions. Now imagine you wake up at 3, you train at 4, you go 4 to 6, come home, breakfast, relax. Now you're back at it again, 9 to 11, relax, and now all of a sudden you're back at it again, 2 to 4, now you're back at it again, 7 to 9. Look how much more training I have done by simply starting at 4. So now you do that as the years go on, the separation that you have with your competitors and your peers just grows larger and larger and larger and larger and larger. And by year 5 or 6, doesn't matter what kind of work they do in the summer, they're never going to catch up. So it makes sense to get up and start your day early because you can get more work in.
Yan. So rinig na rinig nyo, di ba, na there is a lot of wisdom to creating that consistency and the habits around the success that he wanted to create. His job was to be the best basketball player. That was his goal, or it might have been an inner resolution that spanned across his entire career. No, but if he were to be able to do that, he needed to put in the daily habit of starting his day early. No, and you might say, Gio, hindi ko naman goal na maging greatest basketball player. Gusto ko lang naman na mag-lose ng weight. Can you not put this pressure on me? No, but what my invitation for you is that if you're hoping to be different from the 10%, if you'd love to be part of that 10% kanina na nagsasucceed in meeting the resolutions, we can think about making changes in our lives and to be successful at them in the same regard, no, that we have to build good habits and disciplines around the goals that we want to create so that we can bring about the change that we want, diba? So I'm pretty sure that everybody in here that's thought about the resolutions, there's a good reason why you're choosing to have that as a resolution, diba? Pero ang interesting doon is, although that's so important, kita natin na a lot of people fail. So if we were to work around with the idea of meeting success, and because this is so important for our benefit, yung makakuha tayo ng bagong job, to have self-love, to lose weight, no, these are things that make us feel better about ourselves. If we're able to meet that, di ba? Sobrang ganda nung feeling para sa atin. We're able to feel better about ourselves. We know that we can do the things that we want, that we set out to do. So that's so important for us to really think about, oo nga, no, habits is the key to be able to work on the resolutions. No? So given that premise, what our entire discussion for the rest of the afternoon is really understanding these 2 concepts, no? Clarifying our goals and creating plans. And so we'll go straight to our next topic, which is, ano nga ba yung kind of goals that improve our well-being? Diba? Sabi natin na it's clear goals and clear plans are the problem for most people to meet the resolutions. So if our goal is to clarify goals and to clarify plans, we need to answer that question. And quite simply, the most basic answer that you can think about now, that what kind of goals improve your well-being, is that yung goals, naka-orient siya towards building habits, which is nasagot na natin kanina, di ba? Yun yung punto talaga nun. That if you're going to set a goal, they need to be built around or naka-orient siya sa kailangan habit-oriented yung pag-state ko ng goal ko. And we're going to do exactly that for our quickly for this afternoon, no? So Gabby, no, I would love to ask you, what are your resolutions for this year again, no? And I'm pretty sure, like, I can see that you've wrote this down for us, no? So what are they?
Yes, Gio. So like most of the answers kanina, my resolutions are, so this year I would like to live healthier, reach my financial goals, and reclaim my mornings.
Yan. Ang ganda talaga nito, Gabby. Like every time we do our meetups, no, for these preparations, and I always ask you about kamusta yung resolutions mo, or what are they even? And I really resonate with what you shared, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are resonating with these resolutions, no? So our objective again for this afternoon is to clarify our goals, no? Yung resolutions natin, we want to turn them into more clear goals, and we actually are able to so if we're able to do that, no, we have to identify first how to bring about that clarification. So, Gabby, again, if we're visiting your resolution list, if we were to turn a resolution to a goal, what would it be kaya?
I want to work on yung reclaiming my mornings.
Ayan, okay. So nakabilog talaga siya for us. Thank you. So what we're trying to work with the idea is that Gabby wants to clarify what she means by reclaiming my mornings. No, and Gabby, if I may, no, I'll help you work through this clarification exercise. No, so ito yung sabi mo, I want to reclaim my mornings. And then what we want to be able to actually produce after this, and this is the invitation to everybody, is to clarify ano ba yung gusto nyong ma-accomplish and ano yung behavior that will meet that goal. So two very separate ideas that are very integral in coming up with your goal. No, it's so important for us to be able to pinpoint what you're trying to accomplish clearly. No, at least as clear as it is for you. No, and then for other people, we want it, and then gusto natin na may behavior siyang kaakibat, may kilos. Okay, because right now I'm hearing that reclaim my mornings doesn't sound too action oriented, diba?
Yeah.
It's not clear what I'm imagining you do. So we'll get to clarify that. Okay, so to do that, we want to switch our I want to reclaim my mornings to this new statement. Now, I want to blank by blank. Okay, so if we're going to clarify that, Gabby, the exercise is to say, I want to blank, meaning ano yung gusto nyong ma-achieve, and then by doing what behavior. Okay, so give it a try, Gabby. What would you say instead? Rather than saying, I want to reclaim my mornings as your resolution, what is the clear goal for you?
Okay, so I wrote, I want to reclaim my mornings because I want to feel energized. Okay, alam mo yung paggising mo, you feel refreshed and energized to take on the day.
Totally.
Okay, so I think
I understand that.
The first, I think instead of I want to reclaim my mornings, or one form of reclaiming my morning is to make it na I want to feel energized in the morning.
Yeah. Oo.
Okay.
And clear ba sa'yo yung feeling ng energy? Like you know what that feels like. So yeah, I invite you to write it down as it is, as a blank on the screen, so people can actually observe this. No, can you annotate on our screen, filling out that clear statement? I want to feel energized. Yeah.
In the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you
I'm
go.
not sure if we can.
No, it's clear. We see it. We see it.
You
no,
see it? Okay.
It's slowly unraveling sa screen ko din. No? Okay, great start. I love this. No, I guess my next question, Gabby, is I'm not quite sure yet what the behavior here is. Diba? Feeling energized, like you said, it's super present within you. You can recognize yung pakiramdam na ay may energy ako. And you can totally tell that yourself. So I won't change that for you. But what I'd love to get more at is ano yung behavior that will bring you more energy, because you know that you can feel energy when you have it. So ano yung behavior that you actually do that will provide you that felt energy that you talked about?
So since most of the time during the pandemic, we're just sitting down in front of our screens, I realized that parang exercising or doing some physical movement helps me feel more energized, diba? Kasi for the rest of the day, I'm just going to sit down. So, can that be na I want to feel energized in the morning by exercising right after I wake up?
Yeah, I love it. How do you feel about that statement? Does that feel like you can do that? Parang pwede mo pang hawakan yung resolution na yan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Amazing. Sobrang nakakatuwa yan. I feel that there's a clear behavior now, di ba? Na, okay, kung yung habit na sineset natin, right? We're targeting again the accomplishment, which is feeling energized in the mornings, no? But how do you want to feel energized? By exercising right after waking up. So you can see that there's a clear distinction now of what they're trying to accomplish, no? And then of course, what is the habit or the behavior you're trying to accomplish? Clear yung behavior, exercise, no? May observe natin yan, hindi natin wala kang may tatago. You can click. If kinuna kita ng camera, makukuha ko yun. Di ba?
Yes, oo.
Nag-exercise ka talaga, Gabby. So this is an amazing start to clarifying the goal that you set out to do. So this is already a very clear example of how our resolutions can be clearer goals. No? So now the invitation is for everybody else to do this. No? So you've had a chance to witness si Gabby take part in unraveling this. It's the perfect time, no? So, Gabby, what do you think? Kaya nila to?
Kaya nila yan.
Kayang-kaya, di ba?
Kayang-kaya nila yan.
Yan. So, before we get there, maybe we can help out with another example. No? So, think about your resolution already. And we can already give a clear example for someone, no? Or for some of you who are wanting to lose weight. So, we can clarify this by, again, what are you trying to accomplish? So, be specific, ano yung kailangan magbago. I want to lose 30 pounds. Diba? A while ago, Agabis was feeling energy. That's a clear difference from feeling not with energy and then feeling with energy. And then this time, it's clarifying that we want to lose 30 pounds. Hindi lang lose weight. Diba? Pwede nyo pa nga I want to lose 10% body fat percentage. Sobrang detailed na nun. Tapos, yung behavior na gusto nating ma-observe, kailangan nandun. By walking 10,000 steps a day. That's a clear behavior that if people were to take a camera shot of you or take videos of you accomplishing this, it's so observable. Diba? You can even do sa pedometer at check nyo kung nakatag 10,000 steps kayo. So it's creating as much clarity what you want to change and what the behavior is that you're calling yourself to do. Okay? So let's now go to Menti. No? Papasa ko na to sa iyo, Gabby. Take it away. How does it let's hear from people yung ating resolutions. No? So we'll switch over. Yan.
Actually,
so habang
even
nag-iisip
before
sila,
we switch over, meron tayo sa chat. He tried transforming his resolution to our statement. So how do you... Let's hear it, okay? I want to be genuinely happy by choosing myself.
Right. Okay. This is a good start, Ray. I really like the sentiment. I can hear that you're prioritizing your happiness. No, and I would go the extra mile, Ray. If you were to write down here dito sa Menti natin, and this is a lovely exercise for you, maybe Ray, you can answer, when you choose yourself, ano yung activity that feels like para sa'yo talaga? That's, I think, is a very observable behavior for you. Ano yung kapag pinili mo siya, totoong para sa'yo yon? Is it eating ice cream? Diba? When you're craving for it, no? And I love the choosing myself already as a starting point, but maybe it's identifying ano yung mga iba't ibang bagay na nagdadala talaga sa iyo ng feeling na pinili ko yung sarili ko. Right? So try to clarify those statements, no? And we're already getting a lot of wonderful statements here. So yeah, Gabby, read along some of them again.
I can resonate with this. I want to be productive by doing all the tasks right before the due date.
Oh,
Gio, I think we can resonate with this.
No, I think mostly even professionals. I'm pretty sure that's resonating with a lot of them. No, so napupuno talaga yung screen natin. You can see that a lot of people are submitting in. Ano yung iba pa nating examples here?
Ito maganda yung I want to be fit by exercising for 30 minutes in a day.
Perfect yon. I love that statement.
There's
that
a time
captures
limit.
Yes. Yeah. Oo. Ito, I really want to point this out. I want to have my own business by starting to save money and find a part-time job. Sobrang observable ng behaviors na kailangan niyang gawin, no? Save money and then find part-time job. Right? So, great example again. Meron pa kayang magandang example for you that you're noticing?
May isa pa kanina, nakalagay din siya for business na i-consult daw niya yung right person for that business so that he or she can make the correct first step.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. Parang nai-imagine ko nga na they're doing a back and forth of, okay, natanong ko na yung isang tao, expert siya doon, I'll ask another person for more expertise. Diba? So, like, pwedeng clear na clear yung behavior na gusto nilang gawin. So a lot of people are putting in really good answers. And I guess, again, my invitation for you all the time is to create more clarity around this consistency. Again, we're targeting a behavior that you can repeat a lot of the times. No? So, for example, itong I want to be more efficient by enrolling to graduate school. No? And I love the sentiment behind like efficiency or trying to cut down time so that it's a lot more productive for a lot of things. I feel as though that you by enrolling in graduate school is one step of efficiency, but there are so many more ways to be efficient. And so I guess that's my invitation to reflect on, di ba? Ito, merong gumaya sa'yo, I want to reclaim my morning, so by sleeping at 10 p.m.
Oh, di ba? Tama din, di ba? It's a different behavior, but it still captures what you want to do or what you want to achieve.
Exactly. So, kuhang-kuha. Di ba? So we can have so many different resolutions or sobrang pare-pareho tayo ng intentions, yung losing weight, being healthy, right? But the expression of the behavior, kung ano yung powerful sa inyo, yun yung dapat yung sundan. So amazing work with everybody. And I really love how people are celebrating this. You know, I saw someone start say something specific about I want to start saving by putting away 10% of my income. Sobrang concrete nun. You can see how direct that example was. So that is the exercise. As people are seeing put in so many more examples of their resolutions, I'd really invite you to hindi kailangan finish na tong statement na ginawa natin, Gabby. If you feel like you can be more specific about the plan, it's I do encourage you to go through it. So yan, babalik na tayo sa
just before we go back to our and just because you wrote that first behavior doesn't mean na when you do it and you're not able to accomplish it, wala na, titigil ka na. We're always, diba? We're always allowed to iterate or change to see what works with what we have, diba? Na parang, ay, na-figure out ko na hindi pala exercise yung kailangan ko pala mag-meditate or magdasal sa umaga. It can also be that, diba?
Yeah, pwede siyang gawing trial and error. I love that insight, Abby. That's very powerful for a lot of people to feel like, nag-resolution na ako of, for example, yun nga, losing weight by dieting, let's say. And then they realize, alam mo, ang lungkot pag nagda-diet. Alam mo yung pakiramdam ng mga tao na hindi talaga masaya buhay pag nag-diet eh. So, I'd rather na I do walks, right?
Yes.
If you have to change that, remember the intention and the importance of losing weight is still very much there. It's just that the behavior has to shift to fit your situation. I love that insight, Gabby. It's sobrang helpful na. So, yon, we'll switch now over again to our slides. Ayan. Okay? So, now that we've clarified our goals, tandaan na natin na we need to be clear on the plans that we're getting to. Diba? We need to create structure around the goals that we set. So remembering the habit or remembering the goal that you've written down in Menti, and as you're listening, baka makaisip pa kayo ng, uy, pwedeng mas clarified or mas specific yung naisip kong habit or behavior. Feel free to work on that as you're just listening to it. You know, that is your takeaway already for this afternoon. That can be very powerful for you. Okay? So, ayan. So, if we were to really understand habits, or to how to support ourselves with habits, we need to understand the nature of habits. And we know, even without intention, na-form ang habits. No? Kasama yan sa day-to-day natin. Hindi nyo papansinin, pero may mga paulit-ulit na kayong ginagawa. Best case example, marami siguro sa inyo nag-a-alarm gamit telepono, no? Cellphone. It's the easiest way to set an alarm. It's so convenient, right? Pag sinet mo na yung alarm sa phone mo, pagising mo umagang-umaga, ano ang unang mga hawakan? Telepono. So, magugulat ka pa ba na yung susunod mong gagawin? Check email, Facebook, social media. It's so automatic for a lot of us that it's just so, alam mo yun, parang, hala, oo nga, no, naging habit na siya kahit hindi ko sinasadya. No? Diba? Tapos meron pa yung, alam mo, naisip ko lang to, there are so many people who cannot start their day without coffee. Alam mo yan?
Guilty. I'm guilty.
Oo. Meron
Yeah,
talaga
pero
yung, ay,
yan.
kailangan ko magkape. Hindi yung sisimulan yung araw pag walang kape. No? And that becomes a habit, right? That's a consistent behavior that people form. And you didn't really plan to start your day even when you started drinking coffee. Alam mo, magiging routine ko to araw-araw. Kailangan masimulan ko yung araw ko ng may coffee. I mean, I wouldn't think about it because unang-una, mahal na lagi kang may coffee araw-araw.
Totoo.
Di ba? Baka ang type niya pa na coffee Starbucks. So parang, wala na, patay na. Wala na yung savings, no? So, yun nga, imagining yourself with the habits that currently exist, we need to recognize that without intention, it can happen. And we want to understand how come that's the case. So, for this segment of our talk, we'll be actually using the references of these two very wonderful books that are all about habits. No? So we have Charles Duhigg, who talks about the power of habit. And I really love this book because when I was reading this, sobrang nakita ko yung effect ng personal, ay yung pang-personal na impact ng habit sa buhay ko. And it's so interesting to see how businesses took advantage of habit formation for people. And it's just very interesting. Sobrang ang ganda niyang basahin. So if people are looking for resources on habit, this is one example. Ikaw, Gabby, ito nabasa mo yung Atomic Habits, right?
Yes, I read Atomic Habits, and it really parang sums up what you said kanina, na too often we're focused on the goal. Now we forget that these are actually the little things or the systems that we build every day that helps us, alam mo yun, really reach that goal.
Yeah,
So,
no, kitang-kita sa harap. Yung
Diba?
tiny changes, remarkable results. Yun na
Uh-huh.
mismo yung sinasabi niya. So, it's very interesting that these two books actually co-align in some way, that yung pareho yung sinasabi nila about how habits are even formed in the first place, no? And this is a quick example lang of how we might understand our brain on habits, no? And usually this is the entire experience for our brain, no? So imagine niyo roller coaster, 'di ba? Habang nasa baba tayo, walang activation yung brain natin. Pero papaakyat, ayun na yung signal eh. Alam niyo yung tumutukod ka na paakyat ng roller coaster. May signal na, paakyat na tayo. So your brain is already starting to activate as well. It's getting this signal na, okay, something's coming up that I'm preparing for, no? And then, because as we're starting to learn new behaviors or na-form yung habits natin, pag bago yung behavior, it's almost like we have to think about it. Again, like the coffee example. You didn't start, walang pinapanganak na kape pa lang yung iniinom nila, bata sanggol pa lang, di ba? So, I imagine that someone had introduced to you coffee and that you enjoyed it, so that next time you were very intentional na, okay, gusto ko pag morning, that's my signal. I will start with the coffee and then enjoy that coffee. Tapos yung dulo nung sakay is, yung patuloy nung sakay is yung result. High activation pa rin tayo lagi. Na yung brain natin nag-e-enjoy pag-isipan yung coffee. Ay, ang sarap nung kape. Ang sarap na may mapait na natitikman na may konting tamis, di ba? Ganon, yung nalalasap nyo yung coffee nyo. And our brain, through that entire journey, has made the connection. Ginawa niya ng roller coaster ride yon, and it's all high. Di ba? All activation yon. So, along the way, as you keep practicing your behavior, for example, drinking coffee, no? Nagiging cue routine reward siya. Paano nangyari yon? Every morning, your cue is still the same. Pagising na pagising ko, magkakape, di ba? So the signal is, it's morning time. Your brain goes like, okay, may signal na tayo. It's time to go on our ride, no? But quite easily, because it knows the routine so familiarly, our brain goes, alam ko na mangyayari sa susunod. So, bababa na kagad siya, no? Luluso na kagad siya, na-enjoy mo na yung ride. So it becomes that our brain becomes autopilot. Ang dali isipin ng behavior, or rather, we don't even need to think about the behavior anymore. Automatic na kumikilos yung kamay mo sa kusina. Mag-aabot ng coffee maker, magsasali nung coffee grounds. Sobrang automatic na sa'yo, wala ka nang iniisip kung paano i-prepare. But the most important part of connection here in our brain is at the end of the yung autopilot nung pag-prepare ng coffee, biglang natikman niya na yung kape,
Yeah.
activated na naman yung brain mo. Sabi niya na, uy, ang sarap na naman. Kaya ino-automatic ko na to because I already know that this is how good coffee is. Right? So you can see that in a lot of habits that we're facing today, there is this consistent cue, routine, reward. If you were waking up with your phone, the alarm is there on your phone, you have to grab it, no? So possible that the cue for you is magsa-swipe down ka sa notifications mo. Ayan na, ang dami ng notifications. So yung automatic routine sa'yo is pindot ka ng email, pindot ka ng Facebook, pindot ka ng Instagram, di ba? And yeah, exactly. And the reward is, ayang sa'yo nung content na nabasa ko. They're so pleasurable. And that's the thing with a lot of social media content then. They're created in such a way that it grabs people's attention. Your brain goes high on them. So, kitang-kita nyo na baka kung hindi kayo na-expose dun sa queue nyo in the first place, yung phone nyo na may notifications na naka-ready for the first day in the morning, di ba? First thing in the morning, baka yung routine ma-cancel out. So that's how we are going to work with our habits or working with the habits that we want to work with for our resolutions. So we have our cue, we have our routine, and finally we have our reward. And we want to go through each concept one by one para ma-maximize natin ang bawat area or connection of habits. No? So first off, we have cue. So katulad nung kaninang nabanggit ko, di ba? Ang cue, may signal yan. No? It provides us that effective and powerful signs that push you, no? Na okay, tara na, it's time to do the behavior that you set out to do. So if we were going to create a powerful cue na ma-signal yung brain natin na okay, ito na yung sabi mong kailangan mag-activate sa'yo para sumunod na yung behavior for you. This is what we're thinking about, no? So, if I may, Gabby, I'm imagining lang for a powerful signal for you, yung effective talaga, baka pag nakalabas yung shoes mo sa tabi ng bed mo pagkagising mo, alam nga namang, ay, kalat lang yan, di ba? Like, you would realize, ay, oo nga pala, nilabas ko kasi gusto ko mag-exercise sa umaga. Di ba? It's creating that automatic, or parang kailangan mapansin mo kagad yung signal mo para it grabs your attention. What do you think about that, Gabby?
Yes, I actually do that. Parang may shoes
okay.
and my exercise clothes. Yun yung una ko dapat makikita pag gising ko.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So I'm sure it works for you, no? And I'm also imagining a lot of the people who said na go pa sila sa goals nila.
Yeah.
Baka ang galing nila sa signal.
Feeling ko din.
Ang galing, kuhang-kuha na nila yung signal nila, no? And I guess another invitation for people to think about the cue, and I think this is even more powerful for a lot of people, is yung primer effect niya, na we're actually reminded subconsciously of the importance of your goals. Because if we know why they're important, namomotivate tayo. Diba? Yung, alam nyo yung dahilan kung bakit kayo naglo-lose weight. Hindi lang parang magpa-lose weight lang, diba? Syempre, meron yung gustong nagpapaganda, nagpapasexy, gusto sa summer, may certain look sila, diba? Or may hinahabol silang feeling after seeing themselves a certain way. No? So, it can be very meaningful for each person to go after their goals. But the real invitation here is that when people are aware of how important goals are, you can always remind yourself and then not lose track of why you're doing the goal in the first place, no? So the invitation, of course, is for people to answer this question now in Menti. Why is the goal important to you? And before you answer that, alam mo, Gabby, I'm really curious. I really felt so nice hearing you talk about wanting to feel energized and putting in the effort to exercise right after waking up. I can imagine that's totally brutal if you haven't done that or wala ka talagang system in place just to get started. But I guess you're doing that for a particular reason, right? How does that land with you?
Yeah, actually. Kasi di ba parang the energy you have in the morning usually sets your tone for the day.
That's so true. That's so true.
Katulad nung kaninang sinabi mo, if my alarm clock is my phone and then that's the first thing I grab, tapos I parang scroll through it and see, parang wala yung energy kasi hindi ako kumilos before my day started. And for all I know, I
Oh,
wasted like an hour or two na in the morning instead of like doing 15 minutes worth of work. And when I
yeah.
have that energy for the day, 'di ba parang I have energy to do uh stuff that are important to me. So halimbawa, this
Hmm.
one for our webinar today, I have time for my partner. I can prepare her meals kasi I have the energy. So yeah.
Yeah. Oo, ang galing no na yun nga parang na-imagine mo na because of how much energy you have throughout the day, you actually can put that much energy into all the other things that are so also important for you, 'di ba? I
Yep.
mean, a person only has so much energy talaga, 'di ba? But then if nailagay mo, I can really hear that when you put in the work to have the energy in the morning, there's so much more space for you or marami ka pang gasolinang pwedeng gastusin for everything that's
Yes.
so important for you, right? And people are already coming up with their very meaningful statements no kung bakit nga ba importante yung goal sa kanila. And we can already start going through some of them. What do you think, Gabby? What stands out for you here?
Actually, what stands out for me is there's a theme talaga na parang kung ano yung sinabi natin kanina, na there's always the importance we put on self-improvement. See, results matter. I always wanted to be better. It will improve myself. It will lead me to success and it will help me move forward. 'Di ba?
Yeah, totally. I agree with you there. And I really like people who are celebrating. Alam mo, gusto ko
Yeah.
yung meron akong i-look forward in life.
Yes.
That's super important. And I can imagine that that fits a lot of the resolutions. For people who are wanting to live
Mhm.
healthier, there's so much more for you to look forward in life because, hello, di ba? Parang stable yung buhay mo, hindi mo iniisip masyado yung mga ganyang bagay, no? Or for people who are wanting to shift jobs. 'Di ba? Yung parang, uy,
Yeah.
may bagong pwedeng abangan sa buhay, ganon.
Oo.
Right?
Yes.
So, and then yun, like, see, exactly what we were talking about. Someone says that it will boost their confidence if they're able to
Mhm.
reach their goal. It's exactly that sentiment no self-efficacy yung kanina binabanggit natin.
Mhm.
Right? Yan.
I
Yun,
also
I
like
love,
it. Alin yun?
oh
Sige,
yeah,
Gio, go.
yung goal, inspiration, motivation ba?
Hindi. Ako ang
Yun,
nakita ko na
oh,
life
okay.
alignment.
Ang
'Di
ganda
ba?
nun.
Aha.
Yeah, that's very nice. I really like that someone celebrating that your goal creates that inspiration and motivation. Hinighlight nilang
Mhm.
talaga yung sinasabi natin kanina. And that's very
Yeah.
consistent for us, no? Or what we're seeing very powerfully here. This one I also want to celebrate, Gabby, because I want
Uh-huh.
to see how I would be as a woman. No, I think there's an identity there that they're trying to chase, and
Uh-huh.
I can feel for this person na they really want to see themselves be that person they imagine themselves to be, no? Yan.
Mhm.
So, talagang parang ang daming gustong mag-shift ng attention nila na alam mo, ayoko na malungkot. Gusto ko, I'm looking forward to something in life. That's a
Something.
common theme in a
Mhm.
lot of what people are sharing, no? And yeah, so I guess the invitation for a lot of people is remembering that when it comes to primers, no, babalik tayo sa primers.
Mhm.
Yeah. If we're going back to primers, it reminds you of the importance of the goals of your goals. You can actually create wallpapers, password messages para naaalala nyo kung bakit nyo nga ba ginagawa yan. For people who are saying they want to look forward to something in their life, ano yung gusto nyong ma-excite kayo? Yung may travel kayo, you're spending time with a big family, you're still very much healthy, kahit let's say 70 years old na kayo, you're still very active and running, like what images come up for you when you say you have something to look forward to in life? Ano yung nilulook forward nyo? Like, what do you want to really see in your life? 'Di ba? So, ikaw, Gabi, curious lang din ako because of the importance you mentioned of having energy.
Mhm.
What are important parang how will you create the reminders for you kaya of the importance of your goal?
Mahirap yung reminders, ha? Siguro
Hmm.
sa hindi, I shared this with you, 'di ba? Na parang I changed the wallpaper of the laptop I'm using to a quote that would remind me na this is how I want to show up to the world. Like, this is the
Yeah.
energy I want to bring out to the world. Something like that.
Yeah. Oo, sobrang concrete doon kasi nga nakakatulong sa mga tao yung, uy, yung wallpaper ko, it's a constant reminder of what I'm targeting in life. So, create spaces for you to be reminded, no? Kung gusto niyo ng picture, ng poster sa wall, i-wallpaper nyo, gawin yung wallpaper sa phone, make it so much more easier for you so that it really supports you, no? Ayan. And then sa routine, no? When it comes to routine, we want to make sure that we're building towards our goals, no? Remember na to get to the place where we're successful, 'di ba? It takes two small steps to get there. No, my first mini goal, my second mini goal, my third mini goal, and then that's the only time that you can reach the top of the ladder by taking one step at a time, right? So what we want to remember in routine is that as you work on your habits daily, you're aiming for smaller goals towards your main goal, no? And that you want to be very consistent, no? I can imagine na siguro for your case, Gabby, yung gusto mong every time nagigising ka, you have energy. Obviously, you want that to be like an almost automatic habit for the rest of your life, right?
Yes.
Na buong buhay mo yun ang ginagawa mo.
Mhm.
But that means that if you're thinking about all your years, you need to start with just 1 year. And if you're going to start with 1 year, you need to start with 1 month. So you go down the line and you realize that if you could just start today on your first day of waking up early and then makapag-exercise right away, it will create you the first success towards your biggest goal, which is ma-adapt mo na yung habit na every morning you'll feel energized waking up, no? And this is to the point that you were mentioning a while ago, that you have to be reminded that the lowest effort still counts, okay? For a lot of people, it might feel frustrating na bumagsak na kayo dun sa goal nyo. And sometimes, for you to prevent that, yung mga kumakapit pa, dayain nyo yung sarili nyo ng onte. Or okay lang naman na medyo mag-switch tayo ng onte. The lowest effort still counts, no? So, I can imagine na, you know, like there's a statement that we have in positive psychology when it comes to healthy habits, no? It's some is better than none, more is better than some, and lots is better than more. That if you're going to start on habits, doing some work is much better than not having done it at all. Right? So, I guess if you were to ask you, Gabby, no, and this is what I'd love for people to also start thinking about. Now, what's the smallest step you can take towards your goal right now? I'll rephrase the question a little bit specifically for you.
Okay.
Kapag kunyari sobrang hirap ng araw mo, 'di ba sabi mo right after waking up, you want to be able to exercise. And let's say nagpuyat ka. So ang hirap din siguro noon, yung parang kulang ka ng yung energy man lang to commit, siguro wala doon.
Yes.
Or even the exact opposite. Sobrang happy nung the way you spent the night before. Nagpuyat ka because you were so happy, you were so full of energy, you were celebrating probably. But then of course, waking up, you still want to honor that. Gusto ko pa rin ma-meet yung goal ko, no? So, what do you think is the smallest step you can do if you didn't exercise yung first thing in the morning? What else can you do to like take the small step towards your goal?
Siguro, instead of that exercise, pwede sigurong kahit konting physical activity like walking. So, walking for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah,
It's
diba?
still
Totally.
movement.
Oo, na it's not necessarily like the exercise that you're used to doing, but like walking can be much easier. Mas gentle ang walking sa katawan natin, 'di ba? It's not really that difficult, no? And then I guess for people here thinking about wanting to shift their jobs, wanting to have a different space, or yung taking steps for mental health, no? Ang daming pwedeng gawin para hindi mo kailangan mag-fully commit dun sa big behavior that might be very difficult for you to achieve sometimes, no? The first step is always the hardest, and I can already start shouting out the second person that already put in. The first step is believing you can. 'Di ba? Oo, mahirap. Pero pag pinaniwalaan mo yung sarili mo, magagawa mo siya. I like this first step. That's very interesting. Anong nakikita mo na, Gabby, that's like you that really stands out for you?
Gusto ko to kasi it's really, really a simple thing to do. Yung will not use gadgets before sleeping.
Actually,
So, di
ang galing
ba,
yan.
tinatanggal mo agad yung cue na like, malayo sa kama mo, kailangan mong tumayo para kunin siya. Di ba? That's one good small step that you can take.
Yes. Totally. I love that. You know, I want to celebrate someone who said pray, right? A lot of people feel na it's not so much an action, but maybe prayer is the way to set you up for the success. And if that works for you, like praying for guidance, praying for the strength to achieve it, right? If that is your, if that's meaningful for you to take the first step, by all means, di ba? Start every action or every habit that you're doing with a prayer. Totally good, right? And other things that you're noticing, Gabby?
Nakita ko rin to. I think this is part of the primer, pero very powerful small step then na you can take is to just write down your goals, di ba? Kasi sabi nga nila na it's better na you're seeing it and it's like right on paper than you just thinking it na this is what I wanna do, di ba?
Yeah, totally. And it can even be like such a daily exercise. Alam mo yung sobrang ingrained sa kanila yung goal nila that if they actually imagine if they wrote it every day. Kasi on a blank sheet of paper, you're starting out your day with the same intention. I can imagine that will be a beautiful practice for someone. On the first day, they start writing their goal. On the next day, it's still present for them na may goal pa rin silang susulat, di ba? Ano yon? Mind, body, memory na yon. I can imagine for them. That can be so powerful. Anything else that you wanted to celebrate, Gabby?
Meron isa dito, parang feeling niya siguro mamaliitin natin yon. Pero it's actually parang a powerful tool na sleeping early. Actually, kahit nga yung 30 minutes earlier ka lang matutulog or just lie down in bed.
Totally.
Diba?
Yeah.
Psyching yourself up na, okay, this is time for me to wind down and relax.
Actually, that's very true.
Helpful already.
That's very true. No, I can celebrate all of those very, very powerful statements from people of what is the smallest step that they can take, and these are all wonderful first steps. No, and now we'll move on to our last idea. No, and that is of course reward. Ito medyo fun na to, no? And what's really important for us to think about reward is that what we need to create intentionality about recognizing the benefits of our behaviors. Tandaan nyo na you're doing your behavior for a particular reason, right? There's an importance to it. We recognize that the first layer, and then we know that we want to take the first step. And if you are able to do so, it's so important for you to recognize na you can celebrate that, na may benefit even yung first step. Bakit? Pwede nyong lasapin yun eh. Di ba? Yung, alam mo, Gabby, I imagine for you that you're filled with energy. You don't want to waste that, so you'll get started on work kagad. Right. Yung tipong magsiset ka ng 1 hour na, okay, right away, yung energy na nakuha ko from exercise, gagamitin ko siya to like the biggest or hardest task that I have today. And that will help you namin yung energy na meron ka, di ba? Or, I don't know if you do this, pero na-imagine ko na sasayaw-sayaw ka para maramdaman mo yung energy na meron ka. Like, I'm so happy, this is so great, I feel so energetic about my body. It can be a beautiful way to savor. And then, again, it's that every time you're doing the behavior, you can always check your progress. Are you getting there? Diba? Are you getting there slowly? Yung unang araw nyo lang na magawa yung kailangan yung magawa, ang galing nun. Like for example, the first goal kanina was to just write down the goal. Diba? Masulat ko man lang yung goal ko, that's my first step. You've already checked the progress of writing down the goal. That is part of your plan, diba? Your overall plan. And if that is the first step, that is your first progress check. Ang sarap kaya anong feeling, diba? Nakikita mo yung progress. So like slowly, by adding all those small behaviors, nadadagdagan yung check natin, yung progress natin. And I guess the most important part here is the capacity to celebrate. Yung after nyong ma-achieve a big chunk of your goal. No, I can imagine, Gabby, for your case, yung being able to exercise. Let's say, di ba, you wanted it to be a full year worth of every day bumabangon ka to exercise, ganyan. Kahit man lang maka first week ka, nagawa mo talaga yung you're consistent for all 5 days for the weekday, di ba? You get to celebrate and enjoy. Uy, alam mo, nagawa ko yung sinabi kong I wanted to really do. Like, it's so important for us to reward ourselves. It's so important for us to feel happy and joyful about the achievements we actually are able to do. No? So that is the next question that people can answer now. No? What is your favorite way to celebrate an achievement? No, as we switch over to Menti, I will extend that question to you, Gabby. Ano nga ba ang favorite way mo para mag-celebrate ng achievement?
Hindi ko alam kung it's a way of celebrating it, pero I think some may say na ang counterproductive naman, nag-exercise ka, tas yan yung gusto mo. After kasi namin mag-exercise ng partner ko, what we usually do is we prepare a very good breakfast to start off the day. Di ba parang ang counterproductive naman, nag-exercise ka, pero kakain ka.
Girl, look at the responses. You're not alone. Look at the responses. Alam mo, ano yan, it's a very Filipino trait that the food is such a strong reward for us. Pagkatapos na nakakapagod na araw, every time we do like the biggest hurdle that we can encounter, kakain talaga, no? And I can already see that, yun nga, like you were saying, na gusto mo kumain kahit na nag-exercise ka. I will never take that away from you, Gabby, because I can really imagine that if your goal was to feel energized, alam mo, may energy din ang pagkain. Di ba? So, kung tatanggalin mo din yung pagkain, edi naubusan ka ng energy. Di ba? So, if that's very strong for you, go ahead, di ba? It can be very helpful for us. So, ayan, ang daming pumapasok na gusto nila lang mag-shop, gusto nila lang magpakain, no? There's that innate feeling of I want to treat myself. Right? There's that good feeling of wanting to treat yourself. Ang galing doon.
And I also saw something na parang when you do it, gumaganda ka.
Ay, ang ganda nun.
Ang ganda nung ano niya na parang you get glowing skin after doing it.
I love that.
That's really, di ba?
That is both a celebration and a way of savoring. Yung na-savor nila. Na-savor nila, no? Ito, and then actually just doing that, right? That treating yourself is in itself a savoring of what you've accomplished. No, recognizing, alam mo, ginagawa ko tong pag-shop or pagkakain kasi sobrang ang ganda nung pakiramdam ko for myself. And by indulging yourself in rewards, no? Obviously, it's very important. You will support your habits more or what you're trying to accomplish because of essentially that idea na ang sarap ng pakiramdam, automatic yung connection. Alam mo, tuwing every week that you're finishing, you can always celebrate with good food. Diba?
Buffet breakfast. Joke.
Ayan. Pwede, di ba? Ang dami mong energy. Pero yung pinaka nakakatuwa doon is that by creating that consistency in your habit or in the behavior, you also get to enjoy the entire journey. Hindi lang siya nakakalungkot na alam mo ba yan, ginawa-gawa ko pa to, hindi pala masaya, di ba? So we want to be able to enjoy the tough things that we have to do in life, right? So that's very, very important. Okay? So ayan, ang ganda ng mga examples na binigay ng mga tao. And yes, someone saying na yun nga, it's so important to reward yourself to increase your motivation because at the end of the day, nakakadagdag din yan sa primer natin. Yun nga, ang panibago mong picture every week, yung buffet na kakainin mo end of week. So pwedeng yung reward mo, primer din, di ba?
Yeah.
It can be like, alam mo, sobrang meaningful na nare-reward ko yung sarili ko at the end of this all. You can always remind yourself that that's potential for you, right? So it's really wonderful concept on our habits, and I just want to like really connect this back to self-efficacy, no? And what we have to remember about habit is that identity change is the North Star of habit change. This is according to James Clear, the author ng Atomic Habits, no? It's very powerful for us na yung the way we want to be in the world is driven by or yun yung nagda-drive ng habits that we're trying to form. No, it's short of saying that the aspiring to create the change we want in our life is actually honoring our inner desire to become better versions of ourselves. Gusto nyo maging mas healthy pala, kaya nyo yung ginagawa. I want to be the type of person that looks forward to things in life. Yung hindi yung resentful or malungkot. I want to be the type of person that looks forward to something in life, right? And because you can see yourself in better states, no? What we have to think about now with habits is that mastering habits isn't about achieving or having something, it's about becoming someone. Yun yung sobrang gandang pag-isipan about habits, that we're essentially creating the people that we want to be by working on the behaviors that these type of people will actually act on, no? Na the real reason habits matter is that they help you become the person you wish to be. If you were always exercising every day in the morning, you're going to be a person who enjoys energy, or you're a energetic person, right? Or I'm a person that can fuel myself throughout the day. That's like that's such a powerful thing to become, di ba? Or a person to become, that there's a birth, even our images of ourselves and the best and even in our best, no, we can become those by working on our habits daily, no? So yun yung talagang nagko-connect sa kanya. And just before we turn it over to closing our room, I actually want to invite you to a probable gift that you might be able to enjoy, no? And before that pala, sorry, there's actually a very beautiful quote that I want to celebrate here. Is that this is from Aristotle. He says that we are what we repeatedly do. So again, it's in that same idea, no? And I guess if you want to be the type of person that takes care of themselves, their mental health, their well-being, no, you want to target your happiness. If you were one of the people who wanted to create the resolution around happiness, self-love, and self-improvement, we actually have the perfect gift for you to take advantage of. And this is an asynchronous course we are soon to launch, and it's called the Positive Interventions Learning Lab, or short for Wellbeing Pill. No, and this is something that we've been working hard on, and this is something that I feel like for most of you who are targeting your well-being, mental health, no, you want to create more happiness, we can actually target that using this asynchronous course, no? And the asynchronous course is essentially an introduction to positive interventions or intentional behaviors to create more well-being in our lives, no? So you can imagine that if we were to really build out the positive interventions with all of the things that we can think about as boosts for our well-being, it can involve exercise and dancing. It can involve creating time for hobbies like gardening. It can be just creating time to celebrate achievements with people, bonding with family, enjoying friends, or even self-meditation or yoga. Now, these are different intentional habits we can create for our well-being, no? And the most beautiful thing about what we're trying to offer to everybody is that this course is tackling positive emotions, no? The Learning Lab is essentially a series that we will develop as it goes, but we're targeting positive emotions first, no? So if you're wanting to get more positive emotions out of your year, this is the right course for you. And even if hindi ito yung top resolution, you're just trying to get more positive emotions in, this is the perfect opportunity then for you. No, this is of course a course that I mainly instruct and facilitate, but Gabby has been co-working this course with me, and we're so excited for you to just hear about it. Now, and the beautiful thing around it is that it almost enforces you to create the routine or the behavior around it, because all you have to do is complete all the lessons, maybe set a daily regular time to finish to do some items in the course, and then maybe you can set a goal na one module per week matapos nyo man lang, no? And this is actually a very very simple course to take, no? And we actually have a quick sneak peek for you, no? This is actually how the course will look like. You can see that the navigation is present in the screen, no? Na there's the list of lessons on the left. Para siyang yung usual nating mga learning courses ng Coursera, ganyan, no? And you can see myself there, no, as the videos playing. Parang ano lang natin, mga live learning sessions lang natin, no? And there's even space for you to plug in sa discussions. Parang yung mga Mentimeter natin yan, no? So you can see that you can put in comments or questions, or you can even submit in yung mga reflections nyo dun sa ibang prompts, no? So this is a wonderful opportunity for this is such a great tool for you if you were focusing on well-being. And that part of the discussions, no, is ito, nakikita nyo, may mga taong nag-exchange. Sobrang present ng peer or community learning dito, no? Yung prompt for people here was, please share with us the things that you consider as blessings in your life. And you can see that people have responded to how they would see the different blessings in their life, no? And then, of course, it wouldn't be complete without activities or a worksheet. And this is filled to the brim of so many activities. You can see, hanggang activity 18, this is actually like a total of like around 20 activities for you to be able to do. And you can actually like repeat them, no? So you can actually work on the activities directly on the site of the learning system, no? And that you can actually download the form and work on it easily. No, ayan, you can see real time someone filling out the form. No, the prompt to them is, write down what went well today and explore why it happened. And then they're saying that, I was able to enjoy ice cream after lunch. And they're even thinking about the reason kung bakit siya nangyari or why that was possible. And they're saying na, uy, because I bought ice cream for myself over the weekend and it was enough that I could still enjoy it in the middle of the week. Sobrang ganda nun for them. And they're even thanking their weekend self for the future self. No? Sobrang nakakatuwa siya. So many of these activities will help you feel boosted with different positive emotions like love, gratitude, hope, and lots more to learn here. No? So in our synchronous course, the module 1, learning lab 1 sa positive emotions, you get to actually experience blended learning. We have 4 interactive modules, all asynchronous, but you also have live learning sessions, just like the one we're having right now. But it's also, of course, led by me, your certified positive psychology instructor. And of course, like I mentioned na kanina, there's a community that's built around your learning then. You can learn with people, you can share ideas, you can collaborate with people on coming up with exercises then. And of course, experiential learning. No, you can download worksheets, you can reprint them, you can share them if you want to work with it with some people, all in the palm of your hands, in your phone, on your tablet, on your computer. And of course, at the end of the day, you get a certificate of completion to feel like you've rewarded yourself, diba? May celebration tayo. And you just have to remember that this is all beginner stuff na we're not making learning any difficult than it is than we do regularly din naman, right? We empower people to start at the basics, and this will be very, very powerful for you. It's all 100% online learning, but for worksheets, you can download this. So work offline, kung gusto niyo lang makuha yung worksheets, it's going to be very powerful for you. And of course, the most important part about this is learning at your own pace. No, yung asynchronous session natin, kahit ilang oras, kahit anong oras nyo gusto siyang gawin, that pwedeng-pwede. Yung live learning sessions lang natin, we're going to try to create a lot of live learning sessions so you get to join the best time that's possible for you. So lots of wonderful, wonderful opportunities here, no? And we actually would like to invite you to at least register and enroll on the list for our discounted price. We have a pre-launch rate, no, and we are putting in the enrollment link sa chat right now, no. So if you're really interested about just learning more about this, you can fill in the form and register, and this is a pre-launch rate. Okay, I have to be clear that you're not going to receive the course until Feb 14. So pre-launch rate pa lang po muna tayo. We haven't launched the official course just yet. It will be available by Feb 14. By you committing as early as now, it's so much more affordable for you. And the regular rate right after it's launched will be back to 999. No? So it's the perfect opportunity again for you to enroll if you'd love to work on your well-being for at least the next few weeks. No? So again, Feb 14 yung launch niya. And then just something a little extra for people, no? When you access the enrollment link, you'll see that it has the pre-launch rate of 350 for every enrollee, and that's available until we launch on Feb 14. We have a group promo. So if you're part of a company and you are very excited to be able to have this, kulitin nyo yung HR nyo, ask your team managers, di ba? If you can get this enroll for everybody in your company, this would be so much more greater for you as an HR person. You're the HR manager or you're the director. No, if you can actually book 50 people with us, you can have an exclusive live learning session for positive emotions just for your organization. So if you were already thinking about planning a webinar around positive emotions with positive workplaces, you can just get this very friendly rate for your company, and then you not only get the webinar, pero meron pa kayo nung asynchronous course kasama, no? So just an invitation for you all. Again, if you're considering creating more well-being practices for your life, this course will create the structure around learning positive emotions, understanding what they are, and then the most important part here is you get to actually experience practicing and building on, reflecting on positive emotions so that you can notice them more, and it will be so much more powerful for our well-being in general. This can be a part of your routines, your habits. Pwede nyo even siya i-pair sa mga meaningful habits nyo. Maybe while you're finding a job, you're feeling frustrated, gawin nyo to pang booster sa sarili nyo, di ba? This can be even something you look forward to. So I look forward to hearing and seeing you all enroll, and maybe we can all join together again on live learning sessions in the course. No, so that's all that we have for our time this afternoon. And if we have some space for questions now, either for the quiz from our course or from yung habits webinar natin and how these all connect together, feel free to, sorry, it's not a quiz. It's a Q&A, no? Q&A. Kinabahan kagad si Ray, no? Hindi po tayo nag-quiz dito. Even in the synchronous course that we're offering, wala po tayong quizzes doon, no? So, here's your chance to ask your questions if you would love to submit questions, or if something coming up for you na you want to ask around habits or getting clarity or getting some support in what you're dealing with, feel free to send us questions there. Yeah. And Ama, you can switch over to our questions already.
Yes, ayan. So
Yeah.
I'll take over screen sharing. Ayan. So you guys should see in the chat that one of our representatives has sent the link to answer questions, and it should be showing up here right now.
Ayan.
We have one
We
question.
already have someone. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Gia, the question is, I see how habits are key to making sure I have good well-being. And I think I can do the habits, but how do I stop being so hard on myself? I keep feeling I'm not enough and it clouds my habits.
Oh my, I feel for you, for whoever wrote this sentiment, no. I can feel the frustration, yung parang alam kong gusto ko, but the belief in myself is not enough, and that that creates the hurdle, no? And Gabby, I'm sensing that this can be something relatable for you, right? That yung paminsan ang hirap panindigan nung kailangan natin no masundan, mag-follow through sa habits natin. But sometimes you doubt na kaya ko ba, right?
Yeah.
And I first want to acknowledge this feeling that you have around it, that there is a part of you that's questioning, kaya ba natin talaga? And I wouldn't fault ourselves for feeling such things because oftentimes that comes from a place of, I just want to do well, or I want to make it right, or I want to do this right, or even I want to do this perfectly. And sometimes we create this pressure around, kailangan magawa ko siya perfectly possible, right? And my invitation for you, anonymous person who said that they feel like they're being hard on themselves, is that recognize first that that's present. I love that. But the next invitation is maybe it's understanding nothing has to be perfect right away, or that even if you get started on it, it doesn't mean na tuloy-tuloy na siya kagad. We can ride through our habits from day 1, I'm good. Day 2, I did terrible. Day 3, still terrible. Day 4, okay, mababalik ko na siya ulit. Constant flux po tayo lagi. No, we are human beings after all. No one can run in full power every day 100%. Kaya nga po tayo natutulog eh. Kasi hindi consistent yung energy level natin, 'di ba? Our body needs that downtime. It's very important for us. So recognize that there will also be days when your enough is not quite the best it can be for the situation, and that's okay. 'Di ba? Na hindi naman talaga dapat perfect yung approach natin eh. It's a learning system. If you fail the first day, or if you failed after doing it for a good month, and then you relapse into something that you feel bad about, celebrate the first month that you did right, and then just check back and go, if I relapse after 1 month of not doing so great again, the 1 month is a good, and then the 1 month is really good, and I just need to conjoin, just accumulate yung mga 1 month na yon. Diba? Parang eventually you'll get to a point where you've built the habits around them. So really, I know it's frustrating, and it can be so easy for us to just feel na hindi natin kaya, nanghihina tayo, but it never has to be perfect. So if you can take away the pressure around needing to be at the perfect state already to get the habits done, or that kailangan nagawa mo yung habits mo sobrang consistent lagi, it would be so much easier for you to really work on it, no? So a lot of questions are coming up, no? How about you, Ama? What are you noticing here that would be very useful to answer? Because I'm seeing that there are similarities or alignments. Ikaw, Gabby, then like that's my invitation to you. What are you noticing here? Maybe there's a pattern, so we can highlight one question, or that there's a question that really stands out for you, and we'll take one more after that question that we picked.
I think what I'm seeing is the building of the consistency and us being hard on ourselves. Diba? Na parang we get consumed about missing that one day, but we forget na, there were other days that I was able to do it. So I agree with you, Gio, that recognizing it, diba? Learning how to sit with it is very, very important. Pero what's important is like what you said kanina, diba? Na we have to, ano yung minimum na pwede mong gawin? Diba? Parang what's the smallest step you can take? Parang you just go back to that smallest step you can take. Diba?
That's true. That's a great reminder, no? That's why the invitation was there a while ago, that again, some is better than none, more is better than some, and lots is better than more. So that if you're fluctuating from time to time from zero ka ulit, diba? Yung parang, ano ba yan? Na-miss ko na naman. Balik tayo sa, ano yung lowest action para mabalik ko yung 1? 'Di ba? Ganun talaga siya eh. It's so difficult to keep consistent. I mean, if it were so easy, no one would be building workshops around, like how do we master habits? Or no one would be writing books around them, right?
Yeah.
Like, parang there are so many ways to think about habit formation and how to stay consistent and how to be very disciplined. Another invitation that I just thought of now, which can be very powerful for a lot of people, is that binigyan nyo na ba yung space nyo iyakan yung sarili nyo na talagang mahirap nga?
Yes.
I mean, truly, it really is difficult, right? Like, so who's stopping you from just going, ano ba yan, ang hirap talaga? Like, maybe you've been trying to push that feeling of I'm not enough, and not recognizing it. And then actually putting in the time to go like, okay, absorb or let the feeling of not feeling enough flow through me. And then just acknowledge the pain that it brings up. Na masakit. Kausapin yung sarili ko na hindi enough yung ginagawa ko. It really hurts, right? And then only by meeting yourself with compassion and acknowledging the pain or the grief that comes from not feeling not enough, you can now start inviting yourself to start thinking about ano ba kailangan ng part ko na yon na nafe-feel nila hindi sila enough. Is it fair to keep saying I'm not enough? Diba? Or when they feel not enough, what is my compassionate approach? Do I just say, uy, alam mo, you've been really trying hard. I know this is frustrating. This is this is meaningful for you. And every time that you try to make the change, you fall short of it. And I can just imagine how that difficult is for you. So hold spaces for yourselves na okay lang naman din na naramdaman natin na palpak tayo kasi ganun nangyayari siya. So if it brings up frustration and hurt and sadness, maybe you need to let that space come through first so that you can move from negative to a more positive feeling, no? And this is something that you'll actually learn dun sa course natin sa Positive
Yeah.
Emotions Lab 1, that we recognize that by focusing on what we can celebrate and what we can be empowered with, we can shift our attention from more narrowed thoughts of ano ba yan hindi ko na magawa to what else is possible, right? And then since nagiging consistent yung mga questions around how to not be frustrated with themselves or how do they stop yung being hard on themselves, I want to answer this question on these 3 votes na, no? If my job requires a 12 to 10 result from me, no, but I can only give a 10, what habits can I create to still work through the day and not slump into helplessness? No, I want to first acknowledge hearing from this person or the people agreeing to ask this question is yung pigang-piga na kayo. 'Di ba? Alam nyo kung gaano kadami yung hinihingi sa inyo at nabigay nyo na yung 10 na alam nyo kaya nyo na lang. Tapos hinihingi pa sa inyo kung kung meron pang hinihingi sa inyo na kulang, no? Or you're made to feel that your work is not enough, right? And I can totally relate to you in that sense because this is almost in the same line of these people who said that they feel like judging themselves for not being able to deliver through what they said they wanted to do. Ang opposite lang nito is someone else is doing this to you. And that can even be more painful, right? Yung ano ba yan? Ang hirap naman itong pinagagawa sa akin. Pero what I also want to celebrate here is that these people are acknowledging na ayokong mag-give up. Recognize the wording here. I want to still work through the day and not slump into helplessness. So what I'm hearing from people is trying to create some hope in their action, no? And so if I'm supposed to pull my positive psychology practitioner hat, we know that hope is all about getting a clear goal and that we have pathways towards that goal, diba? We know and we can bring ourselves towards those pathways, no? So I guess the question here is that if your goal is to not slump into helplessness and that you still get through the day, ano yung iba't ibang pathways para mapigaan nyo pa yung sarili nyo, no? What are the different ways that you can still push yourself to just give a little bit more? Here's the image that comes up for me, Gabby, when I think about it. Alam mo yung nagtaktak ka na ng ketchup, pero alam mo may laman pang
Meron pa
onte.
sa
So gusto mo
loob.
alugin pa. So para mailabas yung ketchup, 'di ba? Parang ganun yung gusto natin mangyari. So we know that it's not impossible, right? You said you can give a 10 but you feel like there's still some more that kumbaga, it's not that may ilalabas ka pa dun sa ketchup bottle, but we want to at least try to rattle the ketchup bottle just so we can see if meron ka pang maibibigay, right? There's that I still want to be hopeful that there is still something to give here. So that can be very powerful. So my invitation out for you to consider is what is that way that you can alugin nyo pa yung bote, no? Maraming iba't ibang ways yan eh. Pwede nyo tubigan ng onti yung ketchup para matanggal yung ketchup sa gilid-gilid, di ba? Masasagad nyo pa siya. Or alam niyo sa Colgate or sa toothpaste niyo, di ba? Yung gigigilan niyo yung yung toothpaste, pigang-piga na kayo, pero kahit anong katiting susubukan niyo pa. So you recognize that's possible, right? So now the question is, as a person or as a human being, what are the ways that we can squeeze out ourselves more? So I'm imagining that these people can spend more time just taking a 5-minute break. Alam mo yun, kailangan ko lang makahinga. Teka lang, di ba? Hindi yung, nabigay mo na yung 10, tapos nun gusto mo pang bigay ng onte, pero pagod ka na. Syempre, hindi mo mabibigay na pagod ka na. It's the same thing with exercise. Some people will go through their sets or their exercises, do 5 kilometer run, no? And then notice that if you just took a 10-minute walk, just
You
rest
can.
from all the fatigue, pwede ka pang bumawi uli ng susunod na, let's say, another extra 1 or 2 kilometers. Di ba? Kasi ganun ka-powerful yung rest eh. So, if there are moments in your day that you still want to get through some work, I've done this personally. Di ba? Nagpuyat na ako. Alam mo, ang powerful ng 5 to 10 minute naps. Those spaces for resting, that's very powerful. So, that's my invitation for everybody thinking about this question. No, na it can be very, very powerful for us if we think about it na ano yung ways na mapipiga ko pa yung sarili ko katulad ng isang toothpaste tube or maaalog ko pa yung sarili ko katulad ng ketchup bottle, no? Ang dami pang ways na pwede, but it's acknowledging na, you know, that maybe we need to rest, that you can't keep running on consistent energy, that it's just not possible. So what are the ways that you can just create a little bit more for you so it's not always for work, right? So that's how I'm thinking about the scenario here. So we've extended heavily into our afternoon and our time. No, it's been a very wonderful conversation. We've gotten super powerful messages from people about yung importance ng goal nila, kung ano yung mismong resolution nila, and what are their ways of celebrating. Because of these different responses, you can actually watch again sa YouTube yung mga naisip yung responses or borrow from other people who responded, right? Ang daming useful insights from people of how they want to take the first step, how they can celebrate, no? O kung gusto niyo magpalitan kayo ng number, magsendan kayo ng pagkain. Di ba? Total, ang dami sa ating enjoy ang food. It's so much easier for us to even enjoy that. No, so thank you so much for everybody that has really participated with our discussion this afternoon. Is there anything that you wanted to say, Gabby, for before we let everybody on our feedback form?
Actually, Gia, I'm just really, really thankful for everyone who joined us this afternoon because they were really participative and you can really see that people are really trying to build habits for their well-being. So I hope that they continue building them. Rewatch the YouTube video if you need guidance on how to build your habits or to rewrite your resolution goals. And of course, join our course. We are really excited to share with you what we've prepared for you for that.
You know, Gabby, I just want to acknowledge, hold on, Alma. Pinigilan niyo yung sarili niya, sabihin niyo, we worked hard for this. It's okay to acknowledge that we did. Gabby, we really did. And we really put our heart and souls into this. And this is why this is so precious for us, for you to actually utilize and to take a part of. No, so truly, reap the benefits of our hard work. Ika nga, no? So, Alma, as you were saying.
Yeah, I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Gio, and you, Gabby, for such an enlightening session on life sustaining habits on the well-being. What I really loved is how concise the concepts were, and I'd like to repeat Gabby said how engaging the audience is. So much people wanted to ask questions, and I guess how I'm gonna segue that talaga is, alam mo, if you have a lot more you want to know, and you want to join that community, I highly encourage you to check out this product, especially now when it's 65% off kung tutusin now. So really take note, if what you enjoyed in the session, if you want to extend that experience, please heavily consider. And again, I want to thank you, Gio and Gabby, for the very fruitful session today. Thank you so much.
Of course, yeah. And I guess people can, if there's still more questions, they're still hungry for more webinars, right? We have a lot more places that they can get information from us, right, Alma?
Yes. We have, of course, our very own website. Sorry, Facebook rather. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube. But also don't forget that we have a website. So that's going to be positiveworkplaces.org. We'll have someone of our team to send it in the chat. But yeah, so always you can always find our content here on Facebook and on YouTube if ever you want to know more. And I guess we have just one more thing that we wanted to say before we show the post-evaluation form. Last week, we actually had a very fruitful session with Coach Karen, Cindy, and Prof. D, and they talked about their product, LifeCraft. They're also offering a discount for that, a very, very large discount if you want to take it. So make use of this opportunity, get your phone, pull out that QR code so you can get that discount if you want it. Again, it's a very, very good course, and it's how to design an authentic life talaga. So we have that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ang daming offerings, no. It's been very wonderful to see all of these different pathways to get to the life that we want, right? So we have Lifecraft, no, and of course our consistent webinars are always present, so that even if you're just trying to get the best out of free resources, they're all available for everybody.
Yes. And of course, we also have our post-evaluation form. So this is how you'll be claiming your e-certificate. We're going to be sending the post-evaluation form in the chat. So please don't forget to answer it. And I said this last time and I'll say it again. Please give us your utmost honesty and pour your heart out in the post-evaluation. Because Gabby and I, who handle the free webinars, we really take into account what it is you guys say about the sessions that we create, and we really factor it into making the best experience for you guys month and month in. So please give us as much advice or opinions as you want. So ayun, I just want to thank again everyone here, Gio and Gabby included, and thank you everyone for coming talaga. So
Thank you, everybody.
thank you everybody. Ayan.
Thank you,
I will,
everyone.
yes, I will leave it here, although I'll play music for us.